Well, today is one of these projects that would be good for a dad or a mom with their son or daughter, and it's just kind of a it's a little difficult, but it would definitely give you some quality time working together. And what it is I put one of my old camcorders on this so-called tripod that I made. I had to make a tripod that I could take with me on job sites to keep people from taking them. And so I finally come up with this thing. What I did, I found legs off of an office chair, and this here is just a piece of 3/4 inch PVC with a T, and then got a handle to where we can raise this thing up or down, tighten it up. So what I'm going to do is kind of walk you through it, and you can make the platform as big as you like. Oh, by the way, we have another T here that screws into this piece of metal conduit, so you can raise this thing up to about 8 feet. 7 or 8 feet, doesn't matter. I mean, whatever you need, you know, you can make this thing any size you want. And it's just out of basic hardware supplies, other than the stand. Now, you could make the stand out of anything, but this just happens to be an old office chair that I found that people didn't want. The chair was all tore up, so I thought, well, what the heck. Anyway, let's start with the top of it. Like I said, I have this old camera of mine that I've put on there, and it's just a matter of once I got this little plate screwed to this L bracket here, which I'm going to take this all off and show you here in just a minute. Then we'll use this screw with a wing nut to tighten that on there. I'm going to bend this over so you can see it better. You can see this wing nut. See, it just got a long bolt in here. Then I got a wing nut on there that I tighten once I get the bolt screwed into the bottom of the camera. And I just tighten the wing nut up. It's not a quick release tripod. This is just something that you can just use just about anywhere. Anyway, if you need to take the camera off, what you do is you just loosen which I don't have enough hands. You loosen the wing nut, and then you just undo the screw until you get the screw out of the bottom of the camera. And that's what I'm going to do now. And then we're going to start from the top and work our way down. First thing I like about this thing is that I'm able to roll it once I set it up. Now, of course, if I set it out in a yard or something, it won't roll as easy, but at least in here on a good floor, it'll roll just about anywhere. Alright, we're going to start with pick this thing up and bring it over here. First thing is, I want to show you what I've got here. This might probably be a little easier. See, I have this bolt, and then I have the wing nut, and it's just a matter of, you know, the wing nut the bolt just whatever size will work for you, and then plus a wing nut on top of that. So what you do is you screw the bolt through your plate, which is this plate here. I had to drill a hole in the center so I could at least get the camera halfway centered. Stick the bolt up through here, which I will show you. See, the bolt comes up through there, then you screw that onto and the nice thing about this wing nut is you can stick that bolt in there as far as you want to use both hands to be able to screw it into the bottom of it. Screw it in as far as you can. You just want to just finger tight it, and then once you get it where you want it, then you just tighten this wing nut down, and that way it'll keep your camera tight against on your plate. Alright, and the next thing is this is just a plate that I just had laying around the shop in here. You can get these placed just about anywhere. You can get any size, whatever dimension you want to work, whatever you want for your tripod. And what this is a T. It's just a PVC T, about 30 or 40 cents at a hardware store. We have an L bracket, which the L bracket has a bolt running from one side through the T to the other side. Now it's got a spring here, and this is where you'll have to pretty much guess. Once you start putting springs on here, you tighten this up, which puts pressure on this bracket, which pulls it tight against this side of the T and also this side, so that you can get enough friction to hold this plate in any position that you need when you mount your camera on there. Okay, I'm going to take this off so I can show you, because you're going to need a drill with some drill bits, and the best thing is just buy you a small container of those drill bits that you can get at a hardware store, because you're going to need, this one's a 1/4 inch that we drilled through these two plugs for this T. And then I don't know if you can see it or not, but I had to glue these two plugs in because we did not want these plugs moving. Okay, we're working with this T now. What it is, I have this washer and this nut on this bolt, and we take this off. Now you'll have to hold the bolt end and the nut in. Okay, and then see, I have these springs. Now I put 2 springs on here so that I could get lots of pressure, because we need as much friction as we can to hold our top plate for our camera. So that's what I'm saying, you're going to have to experiment. Tighten the bolt down. Let's keep it, you know, what keeps it from falling on its own. But you'll figure that out. Alright, now we take the bolt out, and I did get this to where it's a 1/4 inch bolt, and it's a 1/4 inch hole. See, we got a long bolt, goes through the whole thing. I think this one's 6 inches if I remember. But this is the bolt. This is where we drill through one end, got the hole there, drill through the other end so that bolt will go all the way through. 2 plugs, they're not screw-in plugs, they're slide-in plugs, so I glued them so I wouldn't have any chance of these things moving around. Got that one and this one. So this is our T. Now I've also screwed it onto a piece of conduit. And what we do is we just... Now this is where you're going to take both of you to probably get this thing tight. But what we have, if we have threads inside. See, this has got threads in this side, because we want to be able to use, we have this piece of conduit, and then we have this conduit connector that connects to an electrical box that screws into the bottom of your T. So then I had to drill a hole all the way through this piece and the pipe so that this thing wouldn't slip off or turn. So you needed this thing tight. So you'd have to drill your hole through here,